Spotify. It's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil, nobody's downloaded your shit in like 3 years.
Yeah.
Bye.
Like, don't get me wrong, Neil. If it were 1984,
Yeah.
we might have an argument here. But you realize that you're saying you, who has not put out anything new in 3 decades, to the literally the most popular podcast in the world ever. And listen here, Neil, it's fucking growing.
Yeah. You're just getting older, dude.
Yeah. Your shit's like turning into classical music. Joe Rogan is relevant as fuck. He puts out a podcast every fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 3 hours. That's a lot.
Dude, I listened to the one with Jordan Peterson. It was fucking 4 hours long.
God damn.
Yeah. But, yeah.
It
fucking Neil. It's like, dude, like your health is declining every minute.
Yeah.
Like you're.
Did you see the Joe Rogan with the David Goggins sent him a happy birthday thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dear Joe, on this day, 52 years ago, you were born.
Yeah.
That made you eligible to die. Get your ass up and do some fucking work. Pussy.
Yeah. He's such a fucking hard motherfucker. God.
So with this one being if it were diesel, that kind of already spawned its own question for the
Yeah.
viewers. Do you want me to throw some kind of reminder up, or are you going to just...
No, we're good. We're going to kind of ride that segment as far as we can. Hey, get going closer to me, man. Like, yeah, there we go. We're going to ride that segment as far as it goes, and then I'm just going to kind of talk about parts I've ordered for the excursion so far, stuff like that.
I just wasn't sure for like a viewer question to see if you can get them to... Has that been working at all?
The viewer questions? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there have been I don't know if we're going to touch on it this episode. I do want to try and I enjoy our rambles and our tangents. I do want to like tighten it up like 6.9%. Just a little bit. Mostly just because I listened to the recall episode this morning. I was telling you. But like the energy on that one as far as like getting the info out, keeping it a little bit tighter, it was nice.
Yeah.
So I want to try and we don't have to be like strict or anything. I just want to.
So if I feel like it's rambling, you just want me to just fucking...
I wouldn't even worry about that. One of us will probably be able to sense it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because no matter how much I like you, if you tell me we're rambling, I'm like, fuck you, Corey. You want to see a ramble? Here's a fucking ramble. Nobody puts a baby in the corner.
Yeah. I was going to keep going. Keep going.
Don't make me bleed my own blood.
Well, you're hot, so...
Okay. Tyler Lucas.
Yeah, that's my name. Born with it.
Looking good today, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shaved your face, I see.
I did. If you guys are watching the old YouTubes, you probably noticed my beard got a little big there for a while. That was...
It was too much beard for one room.
I'll be honest, it kind of was. It was a lot. My beard has not been longer than yours in a very long time.
Your beard grows fast.
Yes, it does. I surprised myself on that one, actually.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's one of those things where, like, I'll grow a beard, and it's like, all right, it's longer than usual. It's longer than usual. Okay, now it's like, yeah, it's a little long.
Yeah.
I'm not quite combing it yet, but it's a little long. And then it goes through, like, about a week, and then all of a sudden I was like, bam, that's a beard guy.
Yeah.
They're no longer like, oh, he's a clean, well-kept. Like, that's a beard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They went quick.
It does. For you, yeah. I'm like, I feel like my growth has been stunted. Maybe it's because I keep on messing with it. Sometimes you gotta have like a week of shit.
Yeah.
Just to deal with it I feel like that's what I need to do to get to the next stage of beard growth. But I'm honestly, I think it's like about perfect length right here.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, you're a good beard guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You're a good looking beard guy.
if I had hair on my head, I probably wouldn't have a beard. I'd probably look like, be nice and clean cut.
Yeah.
All fancy like.
Oh, fancy. Well, thank you for tuning in, everybody. This is Ben and Tyler from America's Diesel Podcast coming at you hot from Spokane, Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm coming at you cold from Spokane, Washington. It's freezing cold.
Actually, yeah, I should rephrase that. Coming at you from the former frozen tundra. We have warmed up to the 20s and 30s, basically.
This is about the time of winter where I'm like, okay, I'm done.
This is the time in winter where I'm like, are we going to get at least one more?
I want one more. Because I screwed up on my driveway plowing it. You know, I still use the old shovel. But like if you miss like a day and then drive over it and then it like
freezes
melts
it. Yeah,
and it
yeah,
freezes. So I had hunks of ice in the middle of my driveway and trying to plow that, like my hand just doesn't work.
Ain't
So
gonna work.
I just went to the store and got a bunch of salt, like or the
Bunch of
snow-
de-icer?
de-icer. It's the pet safe stuff.
Yeah.
Freaking expensive, but I got it. I started laying that out and I was like, okay, it's melting.
Yeah.
Then it snowed again, like freaking 6 inches. Like, God, I can't freaking win. Should probably just sack up and get a snowblower. but there's no, physical exertion.
Yeah, I feel like anybody in my neighborhood that has our size driveway that's actually using a straight up snowblower, I'm kind of like, really, guy?
Yeah.
Like, our
Yeah.
driveways are not that big,
Yeah.
and we don't get that much snow.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to each their own. Everybody has their reason. Maybe they got like a slip disc and a bad back and all that kind of.
Yeah, who knows?
Whatever. Yeah, they probably don't drive trucks and take their own stuff to the dump anyway. I'm just kidding. I love my neighbors. Actually, I enjoy them all very much. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. This is America's Diesel Podcast. If you have any, man, I'm all out of tune right now with this intro. Thanks for tuning in.
I know. It has been a while since we've done a
Yeah.
full-length podcast.
Right. So we stacked them up for a little bit because over the holidays we usually don't record.
Yeah, you were having a
'cause
baby,
I had a
so we knew
baby.
that was coming,
Uh-huh.
and the holidays,
Mhm.
and we want to spend more time at home.
Mhm.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think the viewers and listeners are probably noticing because the one that came out last week was we were mentioning that SEMA was going on and it came out in January. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure you figured it out. Not all of these are like super current, but they're pretty current. But make sure and check us out on Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You can find us on there by searching America's Diesel Podcast.
Yeah.
You can find us on the social medias, Facebook and Instagram. Probably not TikTok. We're there, but I don't post on it. By searching America's Diesel Podcast. I am in the process of trying to pump up our Instagram.
Yeah.
That's one of the social media aspects. Like, granted, our Facebook is too, but to me, Instagram's a bit more important than Facebook. I'm gonna be honest. If you guys are Facebook, homies, whatever. But if you send messages there, I do read them. But yeah, if you can give us a follow on the old Instagrams, that would be fantastic. You can find us on there by searching.
Oh, you looking for me to answer?
Sure.
America's Diesel Podcast.
Brand recognition. You see how we did that? It goes around like a circle.
Yeah.
If you have questions or comments on a certain episode, YouTube is a great place to leave that. This is a not live show, but we actually film this so you can see, my short beard and Tyler's long beard now on our fancy logo and our fancy cups. Big shout out to Jim Lawrence for always writing a dissertation on every episode. Much appreciated. I am commenting back to people on there all the time. The conversations that spark from there are actually very fun and very interesting. And I like it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
I enjoy when you send me comments. I always get a kick out of them, even if they're like making fun of me for my truck rack or whatnot.
Also, we live and die by our reviews. Tyler, hit 'em.
Yes. Keep the reviews coming in. I checked the other day, and we were 29. Was it 29 or 28? I can't remember what I told you. 26.
Sub 30. I know that.
It was sub 30. So we were in the 20s for top automotive podcasts.
Period.
And
That's like
all-
not just diesel. It's top automotive. That's pretty rad.
Yeah. I think that's the lowest or highest, whatever, however you want. It's the
best
closest to the
ranking.
top.
Yeah.
All right, that we've been. So yeah, keep the reviews coming in. That helps out a ton. Leave a review on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned earlier. Screenshot that review and send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure to include a picture of your truck and an address that we can send a sticker to that looks just like the logo behind me here.
Bam.
Yeah.
Lastly, if you do need parts for your diesel truck, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. Obviously, the website is 24/7. They've got all the stuff you need on there for your Power Stroke, Cummins, Duramax, and a lot of stuff in between.
Yeah.
If you need to get an order going ASAP, I highly recommend talking to one of our knowledgeable sales techs. They are on the phone at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. That's right. We're slave drivers, 12 hours a day. Just kidding. There's shifts. We don't make them work 12 hours a day.
If it was legal, we would.
Probably would, honestly. But everybody else would be doing it, so it'd be normal. It'd be fine. Other ways to get a hold of us, we do have a chat feature on the website. You can always get on there. We do have someone manning that just about all the time. You can shoot us an email or call, like I just said.
Yeah.
Again, 888-993-4373. If you try and email or call me and Tyler directly, Not saying we don't appreciate it, but if it's one of those things we got to get a part out the door ASAP, we are not always at our desk because right now we're here doing this. If you're
Yeah.
calling me and trying to get something next year out right now, I'm probably not going to see it until tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you need some ASAP, talk to those guys. They'll get you taken care of. If for some reason they have a question that only I can answer, they know how to get a hold of me. I'm not lying. I have had questions asked of me while I was taking a dump,
That happens.
and I answer them.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you got questions, I got answers.
And you got time.
Cell phones are an amazing thing. I get a lot of commenting done
Yeah.
on the old porcelain
dumper.
throne. Yeah.
On the dumper, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So let's get into this episode. This episode is called What If It Were Diesel?
Yeah.
What if it was diesel? What if it were diesel?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, there are certain vehicles that I think we all write off. And
Yeah.
like if it was a diesel, would it be the redeeming factor for that vehicle?
I'm gonna name one that I think might redeem this vehicle. Okay.
Does it start with a L
No.
and end with a M-ent?
No.
Oh, okay.
Starts with an H. But not what you think. A Hummer. An
that's a good one.
H3 Hummer.
Damn, right off the bat, Tyler, coming in with the heaters. There, I
Now,
will
how
say,
cool would that be? Okay, that would redeem that vehicle. Yes,
Totally.
it still has IFS front suspension. Okay.
Mhm.
But it's got the hood that flips up from the
yeah,
and all Hummer got their name because of the H1
Right.
in military vehicles.
Yeah.
And they had a diesel.
Right.
Like, why not? Like, I know you're not making the H1 anymore. That's cool. Whatever. Or
Mhm.
I don't know if are they still making it? Like, can you still buy a new one? I
think
don't even
so.
know.
I doubt
Fact check someone. But the H that would have been a cool rig to have a diesel option for.
it. I know a lot of people do pay a lot of money to put diesels in H1s. I actually,
the Duramax swaps in those are freaking awesome.
yeah, I
I'm
will
pretty
say
sure Jesse James has one, and that thing is
Yeah.
insane.
there was. It's funny you mentioned that because even last night I was getting off the freeway. There is a almost a Ford electric blue H2 Hummer rolling around Spokane. That's a diesel.
Did I say H3 or H2? I meant the bigger one, not the smaller one. H2.
You said H3, but I know you meant
Okay,
H2.
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. But there is one rolling around here.
But
That's a diesel.
Even the H3.
Put a smaller one. Put the 3.0 in there.
Put the 3.0 in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the where I think that it would when you think about it, if you go back in time, I don't know, like 10 years or so, like when the H2 was still fairly popular.
Yeah.
If they had put a diesel in there, that is, and I'm not talking about the H2 pickup, the HUT or whatever, but like the H2 full cab. Did that have a third row? I kind of feel like it didn't.
I feel it might. Honestly, I don't know.
I might get on my phone and check that. But
Yeah.
if you think about it, if that had a diesel in it, that is the biggest SUV with a diesel in it, probably with the highest tow rating. That's like an Excursion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do the Hummer H2 or even the older generation Suburbans. Put it like people do them now. They call them what, Duraburbans?
Yeah, Duraburb.
Yeah, Duraburb.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be a cool platform, especially the 3/4 ton ones. You know, 8 lug and like that would be a cool. I feel like they would have sold some of those.
They do. Okay, the H2s did have a third row.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's my one good idea for this episode is that truck
So I got kind of. I mean,
or SUV.
I'm not even gonna. Obviously, I think an Element with a small diesel would be kind of
God,
cool.
even the freaking Element.
Me and my
dude.
Elements, right. Yeah, I know y'all hate them. But the one that always, it's funny because like, I guess you are more of a diesel gearhead than I am because the first one that came to my mind, it's not the one that I messaged you earlier today.
Yeah.
The very first thing that always comes to my mind with that is the Prius. Imagine if instead of having a gas electric, they had a small diesel electric.
That car is just so like that is like borderline as ugly as an Element. Those things are hideous. They're like trying to be like a hatchback, but they're like cut off. I don't know. They're just not. I don't know.
I want you
Even
to,
if it had a diesel,
uh-huh.
like even like a something to the kin of a Volkswagen TDI Jetta or something.
Mm.
I still wouldn't buy it.
Well, the thing is, at that point, it's
you could
almost,
tell me it gets 75 miles to the gallon, and you can make 200 horsepower with it, no problem. I still wouldn't. I'd be like, God, that thing's freaking hideous.
Well, the thing is though, it's a gas electric, so or diesel electric. So it's not like you could put a bigger diesel engine and make more power, but I feel like you just might gain some efficiency there.
No, I get it, but at the same time, like most any rig that I've ever bought, I bought it because I liked the way it looked to some point. Like that was a deciding factor for me. And like there's some rigs that just don't have that look that I would never buy because I couldn't stand looking at it every time I went outside. And that's one of them.
I will tell you from experience, you can fit a full-grown man in
Of course, you have experience.
in the trunk space with all of your luggage driving back from San Diego to San Jose. Yeah, they fit back there.
Yeah, well, still doesn't make it any cooler. In my book. I think they should just scrap the Prius altogether and just did like a. Because Volkswagen hit the nail on the head on those the early 2000s.
Was it the
TDIs?
AD4 or ALD4 or something like that? Whatever, ALD3.
They freaking hit the nail on the head with those. Like that is the most sought after diesel car that I think probably to this day still is.
That is
short of now. I know like we talked to Adam, was it Blattenberger on
the diesel Beamers.
The Beamers, yeah. Which I know hardly nothing about. I mean, he told me more than I ever knew about him.
I'd love to learn more about him.
Me too. I think it's it's cool as far as a luxury car that you can modify to make fast. That's cool. But man, yeah, I don't. Yeah.
What about like the one that always comes to my mind too is because you see them released overseas, but they don't do them here.
Yeah.
Like a diesel Ranger. Like, I was big into Rangers. I was like, oh man, a diesel Ranger would be sick. But as I've gotten older and learned more, I've now realized that if they made a diesel Ranger, it probably would have been like one of the most anemic little piece of shit diesel engines in there. It would be like, it wouldn't be any fun like it is now.
Yeah.
And if any of you have a diesel Ranger, feel free to chime in. I'm sure your parts are like really hard to find and they're in Brazil or something like that. And your options are basically like to, pinch the wastegate hose if it has one.
Right.
If it has a turbo, first off, if it even has one.
Well, it's crazy with the early small displacement diesel engines, like the early I had a buddy in high school, which I'm still kind of friends with him today, but he bought I want to say it was a Mitsubishi. It was an older truck, tiny little truck, like a mini truck that had a turbo diesel. I have no idea what it was.
Was it one of those, the Mighty Max? Is that the little tiny ones that they had?
I can't remember. I know it was I'm pretty sure it was a Mitsubishi. So if that's what they call them, then great. But my God, that thing was so freaking slow.
Well, it's like
it's just I know it's just like the early truck engines too. Like those were pretty boring.
Yeah, well, it's like the diesels that came in those little Volkswagen trucks.
Yeah,
there's the loudest, smokiest piece of crap ever.
Yeah. They get great mileage, but
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. So short of a Honda Element, okay, I don't want to hear Honda Element for the rest of this episode. What would be your top what would be your Hummer H2 that I?
It's honestly kind of a hard one.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, like every vehicle has a redeeming factor for its place, even that which shall not be named. No, I can't say it anymore.
The cab space is amazing here. Like nobody cares, Ben. Nobody cares.
The people who need it care. Okay, all right.
Frick, man, I'd buy just like a cargo van, or like a something like that over that one vehicle that you love so much. You know what? I want you to get one.
I kind of do. I want to get one, and especially in the winter, I want to put, if it's all-wheel drive. Well, I'm only gonna get one that's all-wheel drive, and put studs on it. And I want to take you out on a guide date, and we'll just go rally the shit out of this thing after it snows.
Okay, I'm down.
You're gonna be like, all right, okay, I don't like it, but
Yeah. Dude, that honestly, what you just said, like, brings me back. Do you like? You in high school, you were down in California, right? You didn't really have any snow. Well, unless you went up into the mountains.
Yeah, not where I lived. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that was like a thing that we did every day after work. Like, I had this, I can't even remember the year. It was a Ford Escort, automatic. Like, this, I mean, it was a clean little car, but it was pretty gutless. But my God, you could e-brake that thing around corners in the wintertime. Like, hey, let's go drifting. We call it drifting, which is it's not drifting whatsoever. You're just sliding, basically. Yeah. But we would do that every day after school, like just rally through neighborhoods, dude. I remember pulling up on my buddy this one time, and he was behind a Fred Meyer, which is our grocery store here, with the rear tire completely, like, the whole rear of the car was shifted over like a foot, like the rear, dummy axle. He friggin' e-braked that dude right into a friggin' curb, and it just shot the wheel. Like, the whole thing was like totaled. like, dude, John, what are you doing, buddy?
Having fun.
He called me behind Fred Meyer. I go back there. I'm like, dude, were you going like 55 miles an hour into the skid in back of Fred Meyer? Like, how'd you do that? Golly, I got so lucky doing that back in the day. Like, I never hit anything but a snow pile. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, I got close.
Yeah.
I got close.
So that whole tangent there, I've been trying to rack my brain of like what would be my diesel Hummer.
Yeah.
And the only one, I'm going to catch a whole bunch of shit for this because I know it's not possible. And I know, but it's one of those things that always makes me wonder, Mm-hmm. But I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Say it. You're already too deep.
Yeah. A diesel motorcycle.
Dude, they make them.
Do they?
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Yeah, they're not the best looking.
I assume they're kind of shitty because I've never heard of them. I'm not saying I know everything about motorcycles, but I've literally never heard of a diesel motorcycle.
It kind of this is right here. It's the toughest bike in the world with Alliant power. Diesel Army, actually. Look at it. A little diesel engine.
Okay.
I can't believe you never saw those before.
No.
Yeah. Here you go, guys.
Yeah. Bing bing.
Look at It's a JP8 /diesel
/diesel.
But
what does it have in it? Like a little.
I have no idea.
Like 300cc single cylinder or something like that.
Does anybody make a diesel? The world's only production diesel motorcycle. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. This is looks like a newer one. Okay, it's got a.
Bitchy.
I'm never gonna find it on this. A Hatz HATZ diesel engine.
Okay.
Specs. Where? Yeah, this is like newatlas.com. So I highly doubt that they got in. 28 bhp.
28 brake horsepower.
Yeah, at 5,500 RPM.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
28
I can't believe you never saw that. Yeah.
No. 28 horsepower on a big ass bike like that.
28 horsepower.
I sure hope it makes at
75
least
foot-pounds.
I was gonna say, I sure hope it makes some torque.
Yeah.
Good God.
Like, I'm trying to think of things that would be like, maybe not even. Okay, if you showed up to a party, people have like the motorcycle handlebar blenders. Like, what if you had a blender that was a diesel engine that's just rolling coal as you're blending margaritas? Oh,
you gotta watch out. This thing's she's a little torquey.
She's a little torquey when you get her in the R's. Like, I'm trying to think of things like that, and I was like, oh, generator. Oh, they already make diesel generators.
Popped a fuse on my house trying to hit the grid warmer on my blender. My grid heater on my blender.
Yeah, you have a little coal smoked margarita. Like,
I guess the one, like, if with the reliability of the old inline 4 Honda engines that they put in like the Accords and Civics and everything like that, I would have to imagine that if Honda, given their reputation for that kind of reliable stuff, if they had done something more diesel, in those cars, like how different things would be.
Well, yeah. I mean, nowadays, like I was mentioning about the Volkswagen, like those cars are so like sought after.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if somebody would have competed with them when they were making, like, you'd have a car now that's like, oh, well, yeah, if you find one of those, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to switch it around on you.
Yeah.
What if there was no diesel? And the reason why I bring this up is because every day I drive home, they're building a new highway that's connecting like north and south Spokane, right? They call it the North-South Freeway. They're very creative.
Yeah, they've been working on this thing apparently for like 4 decades.
Yeah. But I was looking at, because they're raising these giant cement, whatever the hell you want to call them, but these giant cement pieces for the road on the, going in between the pillars of the bridge they're building, because they have to build like a pretty long bridge to tie it to our main east-west highway to our north-south, and they have this giant freaking crane, and it runs on diesel, like obviously, but if it didn't have a diesel, like how much slower? Like, do you think it would be slower? They were just like, what? How would they? If there was no diesel, it'd have to be like a gas engine or electric.
Yeah. I think if there was no diesel, at least for that type of industrial stuff, the gas electric would be much bigger.
You'd have to, yeah.
I mean, look at locomotives.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're diesel electric, but like you'd have to be some more gas electric type thing.
Yeah. Well, and then you can extrapolate that all out to like all heavy equipment. Like if they didn't have diesel, like I feel like they'd be so more inefficient. Like shit would cost a lot more money. Yeah. Right?
Well, and
it's
even
crazy to think about.
Transitioning,
diesel truly does move the world.
It does, yeah. Well, especially, so this is going to be coming out obviously later, but right now the hot stuff going on is up in Canada right now. All the truckers in Canada are like,
yeah,
nope, sorry, J-Dog.
Yeah.
Not happening today, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be fairly interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah.
On our top hat.
Yeah.
Our hat. That's what Canada is. It's our hat. USA's hat.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about like how much of an impact diesel has had in like construction and building things. Like there's like roads. Like there's like without those vehicles, like you're either, like you said, gas electric or just a gas engine, which has way less power than what a diesel can generate. So you're thinking you're moving less. If you're just using a gas engine, you're moving less earth or whatever you're moving. So shit would just take a lot longer. Like our 25-year north-south freeway they're building would probably take 50 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's essentially too, it's like, what else are you going to have besides a purely electric engine that's going to use a consumable and give you that much? When you say power, I'm assuming, because I'm thinking the same thing, as like that much, say, convertible power like torque.
Yeah.
Being able to, because you can make a gas engine make the same amount of torque a diesel makes. The only problem is, instead of having this diesel engine, chuffing along at 1,200 RPM, you now have a big block essentially screaming at like $5,000,
right?
Or you've got an even giant, just impossibly large gas engine turning at a low RPM that is like extremely inefficient.
Yeah,
because it's not in its power band.
Yeah,
it's like, so.
I know we're kind of going off topic here, but
yeah.
Why haven't you like drive around? There's like garbage trucks that are diesel engine, but they like run on compressed natural gas.
Yeah.
Like, why haven't they done that for vehicles, like a CNG vehicle? Like, why? Because natural gas burns cleaner than any other fossil fuel, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if they're worried about the environment, just do CNG. Why not?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah,
I'm going to go on a limb here, and
maybe it's just dangerous because you got like a pressurized tank that's on the vehicle.
Possibly. Jim Lawrence, I expect a dissertation on this. I expect to have all the answers, but I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm shooting from the hip, kind of going from the gut here. I feel like the compressed natural gas engines take a lot more maintenance, which is why someone like a city-run dump truck or something like that has a tax-funded maintenance schedule is able to keep going.
Sure.
And also it's a very pinholed vehicle.
Yeah.
It goes 0 to 30. That's it.
Right.
And it does a lot of
True.
and that's it. But then again, buses. A lot of buses are running on that as well.
Yeah.
Buses go on the freeway.
Oh yeah.
It's
They freaking rail, dude.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger function, but still fairly pinholed. I mean, buses are pretty much going like 55 on the freeway usually, right?
Right.
Maybe I'm pretty sure they're governed to like 60 or something.
Probably.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Unless it's the old bus like Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So a Hummer H2 I think would be the coolest rig if they came out with a diesel. Like that'd be a cool rig.
I concur with you on that one.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I'd probably the close second to that would be like an actual Suburban.
Yeah.
Like a 2500 Suburban that you could get an actual Duramax in from the factory.
Yeah.
I think that was I think GM really missed the window or the boat on that one.
Yeah.
And I probably would have sold like crazy in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing how, but I get why they didn't. They were coming off of, basically everybody talking about how gas guzzling SUVs, cash for clunkers, all their shit.
Yeah.
So it's like the last thing you want to do is like, oh yeah, by the way, that Ford Excursion that everybody makes fun of? Yeah, we decided to make one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
That would actually be, that's a Dodge Ram move right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Putting a Hellcat in a minivan.
Yeah.
That's a Dodge Ram move.
It totally is. Totally is.
We're going to be all electric by 2035. Yeah, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Let's put a Hellcat in a van.
Yeah.
Woo!
I love that mentality. I know it's probably not going to last too much longer, but
Well, they already closed. They already said that the SRT division is like done, isn't it?
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
So that was obviously like a last like all right guys, nobody knows, but we know we're about to get shit canned.
Yeah.
What do we need to do? What's our inventory?
Yeah.
Tom, what do we got? And Tom's like, I got no trucks. Bill, what do we have for SUVs? I don't got shit for SUVs. Diane in the back.
got some caravans.
I still got like 40,000 vans. Sweet. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 40,000. I want you to take 32 of them, base model, sell them for pennies on the dollar. Just get every cent you can. We're gonna take the rest of them. Hey, Daryl.
Yeah.
Daryl, put the coolers down. Put the damn beer down. It's 4 of them. Daryl, how many Hellcats you got laying around?
6.
Daryl pulls.
D9.
Daryl pulls out his push to talk Nextel phone.
Yeah. Seriously.
Let me check with the boys in the back. Beep beep.
No, he'd be like, boys in the back.
Yeah.
What do we got?
he does the Nextel over here and yells off
Yeah.
the phone this way.
Or it's like, Dale, like,
Flips his mullet to the side
his
so he
phone
can get
doesn't. Yeah, his mullet.
We've got 690 of them. Perfect.
Yeah.
We're putting them all in the minivans.
That's freaking epic. Yeah.
Sir, are we going to get in trouble? We're already screwed. We're already dead.
We're already in trouble,
Yeah.
man.
They can't fire us if they're going to fire us already.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. We got to get them done tonight.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Charlie, call up your boy with the crazy horse. Tell him to bring down the you-know-what.
Yeah.
Tonight's
working all night.
Tonight's lasting all week, boys.
Yeah. Oh, fun stuff. So what else you got going on, Ben?
Well, I gotta refill my cup over here. So, the last time that we actually recorded a episode was technically 2021. It's now 2022.
Last year.
So I want to touch on some of my goals that I put out there for the new year.
Okay.
One of the goals I talked about was trying to push up the date of buying a second house.
Yeah.
Not trying to like flaunt anything there, but like that's a goal that me and my wife have. We live our lives accordingly. Excuse me. I'd say we're fairly what's the word? Is it worse to be cheap or frugal? I thought cheap is the word.
Cheap, I think, is worse than frugal.
Frugal is like just being
you're
extremely
being
tight
smart.
and smart with your money.
Cheap is just like, because you could go cheap and end up going
And screw
turning
yourself.
going expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say we're like fringe frugal, I would say. we still splurge and get Chipotle once a week or something like that. Like we're not over here.
Chipotle.
Yeah, I know, right? Like the fourth season of Yellowstone came out on
I
Amazon.
like to get my salmonella once
Yeah.
a month.
So we bought the fourth season for $20. We didn't wait for it to come out for free. I know I'm probably sounding like a total fucking boomer right now, but we're trying to do that, right? So we crunched all our numbers and we talked to who we needed to talk to, and unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to make that happen this year, which is fine. I'm not upset. Like I was, I will say though, up until that point, we found out I couldn't sleep. I was grinding my teeth at night. I'm that kind of person. Like when something takes over my mind and I have a goal set for it, it's very hard to get my mind off of it.
Yeah.
It was. I'm sure my wife was expecting me to be a very butthurt individual and adult, and I was in the past, even 5 years ago, Ben would have been.
Yeah.
But 36-year-old Ben was okay with it.
Yeah.
At least we know now, and we can make a plan to move forward and make sure that we're still going to hit our goal when we want to hit our goal, which is fine. So we're still on pace to hopefully maybe get one next year. If not, we're kind of pretty much because interest rates are all going up. We all know that.
Oh yeah.
We're pretty much assuming that we're not going to be able to buy a second house pretty much until Captain Biden is out of. He's our president. It's President Biden. I'm not that guy that was like, I'm not going to give anybody the satisfaction of it's 45 as Donald Trump. He was our president. Joe Biden's our president.
He is.
I'm freaking American.
Yeah.
He's our president. But we're probably not going to see favorable interest
Huh?
rate. Yeah. Huh?
Come on, man.
Did you get sprinkles on your ice cream?
It's so ridiculous, though.
Where's my pudding?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get political or anything. I know, but it's just like, come on, like everybody's like a little embarrassed. Like
on the other side of that,
like before with the Trumpster,
Yeah.
like you could go to like Mexico and be like, yeah, America.
Yeah.
be like, oh, look at that guy. Like now, if I like went down to Mexico and be like, yeah, America, like I'd be like, oh, what did I say? Like I don't want to be associated with.
It's like when your big brother can beat the shit out of anybody.
Yeah.
But then your big brother like goes away to college.
Yeah.
And you used to walk around knowing you have like the fear of God behind you, and you're like, oh, sorry guys. That's kind of
Now you just got like an imaginary friend.
Yeah. When my brother comes home on winter break, he's gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
No, he's not. No, he's not. But let's get back to it here. Oh, quick tangent. Like, as far as like poking fun and having fun at people's expense or whatever. As much as I was a fan of Donnie J, Donald Trump, I loved it when they made fun of his small hands.
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually does have small hands, but that whole tete-a-tete back and forth.
Yeah.
Just how people would purposely like do mathematic calculations with screenshots on things like, look at this paper. We know paper is this big. Look at his hand. This hand is this much sticking out of his cuff. This cuff is approximately this diameter. This guy's got tiny hands.
Yeah.
And then he would continue to feed post pictures. These are my hands. They're not small hands.
Yeah.
They're great hands. In
Yeah,
fact, they're the best hands that ever were. I'm in the back just like,
Dude, I love the some of the Instagram videos that people do. They're like where he's like, it might get bigger, it may not. It might get a little bigger. We'll have to see what happens. But it may get bigger, it may not. It's just like
we don't know the facts.
We don't know. But whatever it is, it's going to be the greatest ever.
Yeah, it may go bigger. It may go much bigger, and actually may be the best thing ever. But it may not be that big. It may not be big at all. It might be under. But all we know is it's going to be the best ever. But it may be biggest. We don't know.
Okay, one more. Because then now we've got, whatever you want to call them. They do the videos where it's like, like they'll put like the text like, how much did this cost you? And it's like, it's gonna 100 million billion thousand like the dollar.
He sounds
figure.
like my son saying big numbers.
Yeah.
10 100 billion 11,069
million.
400
million
trillion. Dad, triangle.
What? Oh lordy.
I completely forgot what we were talking about. Oh, goals. Yeah. So that's not going to happen. But so basically, I'm kind of like resetting and having a bit of a kind of making a new plan as far as what needs to get done, what can I control right now, and do it smartly,
Yeah.
or as best as possible. So projects that I have going on. I am going to finish my garage. It's currently not insulated, no walls or anything in there. So I'm going to get some insulation in there. I'm going to put some OSB up. Sad part about that is when I originally figured out how much I needed. This was in like 2018. The price has almost tripled.
Now it's 7,300,000,000
Now-
trillion, 5,000,000,000, 6,000,000.
Now it's a Biden ice cream number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's big. It's up there. But I'm going to be doing that anyways because I just want to be able to. I don't work in my garage during the winter. Like I'll be honest. Like if something has to be done, I'll do it. But I'm going to go tinker in the garage. I got a project to work. I don't want to be in there.
Yeah.
Like the days of me, and I know there's some really hard dudes out there. They're like 20 degrees. I don't give a shit. -10. I don't give a shit. If it has to get done, it'll get done. Don't get me wrong. If my car breaks, I'm gonna fix it. I don't care how cold it is. But do I want to be out there for like leisure? Like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
So I want to try and get that a little bit more fun in there.
Yeah.
Plus also adding some activity space for me and my son, especially during the winter.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the kid because it's there's like 4 minutes of sunlight,
Yeah.
and when he comes home from school, he's all ramped up still, and there's only so much room to do stuff. So
Yeah.
the other thing too is I'm looking at raising my garage door. I have enough room before the main beam going across to where I could actually probably get one more panel of a door in there, so additional 21 inches, which will make sure that if I do end up lifting the Excursion or the Blue Truck, I have no problem driving it because right now they are both like just squeak it in there. And then also there's a bunch of, I wouldn't say things that have been putting off, but things have been putting off. Like the whole mentality behind the Excursion has really been like, when it breaks, I'll fix it.
Right.
But my list of things that I'm kind of like watching out for and waiting to break has been exponentially growing.
Yeah.
And it's starting to make me nervous.
So you just want to start knocking those out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Murphy's Law, one thing breaks, the whole fucker's going to go down.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
With my luck, and it'll happen on a road trip with
Yeah.
my barely 1-year-old daughter in the car. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have that happen.
Yeah.
So I've been going through and just kind of checking off things and buying parts. Probably the coolest part I'm going to be put on the truck or on the Excursion is the high pressure oil pump.
Yep.
Yeah, my high pressure oil pump is very anemic.
Yeah.
I'm basically at like 40% just maintaining speed on the highway of IPR, which basically means like pretty much everything that my pump can make is being thrown at the engine to keep it running. So, and I'm just trying to cruise at 65.
Yeah.
Not even hauling ass up a hill or anything. So I got myself a CNC Stage 2 high pressure oil pump.
Right on.
You may be thinking to yourself, Ben, why the hell do you need Stage 2? You're right.
Because it's available.
Because I like to party, okay? But the frame of mind behind that, too, is because the thought process behind that is,
You can never have too much oil.
true, very true. Like, would I put a dual pump on there? No. But the reliability factor between a Stage 1 and Stage 2, technically is a Stage 2 less reliable than Stage 1? Yes, you are asking more of the pump. Is it one of those things where like, well, one pump's going to give you 100,000 miles, the other one's going to give you 14,000? No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. It's still going to last as long as I need it to. Plus, I'm religious to maintenance. I use good oil, and honestly, I'm not going to be asking a whole lot of it, but it's going to work very well for me. The other side behind that, or other side with that, is if for some reason I ever have to sell the Blue Truck, I want to be able to take the injectors out of that and throw it into the Excursion if I need to. So I want to be able to make sure I have enough oil to run those.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. I have a PMR, 7.3 in the Excursion. I'm not planning to turn them up, but it's one of those things where, like, if I do have to sell my Blue Truck, I'm not selling those injectors with it.
Right.
Those things are
Those are
near,
custom.
Yeah, those are custom. Those are near and dear to my heart. They're staying with me. But yeah, so I and honestly, the price point in Stage 2 that's like $685 or something like that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Like
Yeah.
I'm super stoked on that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Other stuff, man. I'm what was that 203-degree thermostat on there because that housing just started leaking on me. It's one of those things. It's like as I started looking for stuff, I started finding it. So
Yeah.
I'm replacing the housing on there, putting a new thermostat in. My same caliper on my driver's side is starting to smell like it's dragging again.
Really?
So I'm the 99% of the time. Here's a known fact. Okay, Here's what I'm going to put this out here for all you Super Duty owners out there, especially you 99 to 04 guys. So your leaf sprung Super Duty guys. This may also basically anybody with the disc brakes front and or rear. The Fords, like 250 and 350 Excursions, they just, for some reason, people find they burn through calipers. They're always dragging, they're always seizing, they're always doing something, they're always messing up. And if you go on the forums or any of the Facebook groups, you find people like, I'm on my third set of calipers, I'm on this caliper, I'm on this, I'm on this, I'm on this. Okay. The only problem is, and some of the old timers or some of the knowledgeable people will chime in and be like, and it's the same thing we preach here. And it's funny how sometimes even you get, like myself, or you might get caught up in like, because you just gotta have the wherewithal, take a step back and use your thinking skills here. You have a caliper that keeps failing. Do you think maybe after 2 or 3 calipers you keep getting junk calipers? The thing is, every time you put a new part on to replace the old part that you think has failed, every time you do that and it doesn't fail, you have now exponentially decreased the possibility that you got a DOA product.
Right.
So for those folks that are going like, I'm on my 3rd caliper, I'm on my 4th set of calipers, it's like, have you stopped to think about why they're fucking failing?
Yeah.
Take a minute and think about it.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
The same reason where it's like, I need compounds. Why? Well, my truck's slow. Well, what's your fuel pressure? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should do
Maybe
that.
You got like 3 injectors that like aren't even working. I don't know.
You think about that?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to delete my truck. Why? Because my filter keeps filling up. Why does it keep filling up? I have to delete. No, you don't.
Yeah.
If you figured out the issue, if you
Yeah.
looked upstream, duh. So, and the upstream is brake lines.
Yeah.
The rubber brake hoses tend to deteriorate, they start to collapse, and they start to
Push.
feed debris into the calipers, and that's what causes them to seize.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'm catching it early enough to where this caliper isn't completely junk.
Yeah.
But I am replacing the caliper or the lines at the calipers. I haven't bought one for chassis to rear axle, just because from my reading, most of the time it's especially because I only have one that keeps being a problem child.
Right.
So if it were both of them that
Then,
keeps going,
yeah.
then I would be more inclined to do the one from chassis to axle. And to be honest, I may end up doing that one anyways. But I'm going to do a big brake flush or brake fluid flush, and I'm going to replace the 2 axle 2 caliper lines
Yeah.
on the back, so I can hopefully nip that in the bud and really flush out that caliper and hopefully save that one, because the caliper is less than 6 months old.
Yeah.
Oh man, did I say U joints? I got U joints. What else did I get? A new filter for my intake. Oil. A new oil change. Like
Yeah.
just that, all that basic stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not that exciting, but I'm excited for that.
There's one thing I want to address.
Yeah.
That there's someone made a comment with. Okay.
Yeah.
This is about my truck rack. No, I know I've talked about this a few times. Okay. There's one person. What did he say? Like that thing's gay or something? Is that what he said?
Yeah, he did. Not even paraphrasing.
Okay. I really, honestly, and I'm not like trying to bash this guy or anything. If he thinks it's gay, then cool. Whatever. But I started thinking about like, there's truck bed campers that are way bigger and, way more work. Like, okay, guys, I have a rack on the back of my truck where I get to rock crawl my side-by-side up on my truck. That's cool. I think that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
When I look at that rack, I look at that as a solution to a problem, but that's cool at the same time.
Think about when we were all kids and we were playing with Matchbox cars and we had all the different cars and you would stack a car onto a truck bed.
Yeah.
You're doing that in real life.
Yeah, so I don't see why people think that it's like such a bad thing, because it's really not. There's been plenty of times where I have my side-by-side on the truck with no trailer, just bringing it into work because we're doing a date, whatever we're doing. Or honestly, I would do that before we go camping just to save me time for when I leave. But I think it's a great solution for a problem that a lot of people have that go camping and want to have a side-by-side at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't see people saying that sled decks are, stupid. Those are dumb. It's the same freaking thing. It's the same freaking thing.
I honestly had the same reaction to it the first time I saw a sled deck
Yeah.
compared to the like when I first saw the racks.
Yeah.
Because me grew up mostly in the Bay Area, and going to Tahoe, there's not really many people in Tahoe that sled decks because it's not really a big
Right.
snowmobile area.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I moved up here that I started seeing them on the regular in the
Yeah.
winter, and those ones, even when I first, I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that thing. That's wild.
Yeah.
How is that thing's gonna tip over? What the hell? And then you start thinking about it a little bit, like, okay, sleds are not that heavy.
Right.
It's a 3/4 ton truck.
Yeah.
And-
It's fine.
Yeah, they're like they're maybe at most a foot above the roof line,
Yeah.
and we're talking about like basically the gas tank and handlebars and the top of the seat that's above
Yeah.
the roof line. You need to chill the hell out, Ben. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, but again, I just started thinking about like I love driving my side by side, and when I ride my side by side, which I just got my 32s on, and badass, like the thing is awesome. But then it's like because we're trying to I've got the rack for sale now, and I've got our camper for sale because we want to consolidate those two things. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, I love going over obstacles. And I get to go over an obstacle every time I load my side. Like the hardest part, this is truly the only reason why I want to I want to sell the
The
rack
setup
is
here
the
now.
strapping and and the fact that I have to disconnect from my trailer everywhere we go. Like, and some people may think like that. Oh, that you're just being lazy. Like that. What you have to unstrap it? Like boo hoo. Here's the problem. Okay, I go camping on weekends.
Yeah.
Like I don't take extra days off unless it's like a big camping trip that I've planned for quite a while. But I'm leaving Friday after 4, and we come home Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a lot of time.
Right.
And when you're spending 45 minutes unstrapping or strapping up your side by side, like it may not seem like a lot, but when you're only dealing with like 36 hours, like it's not a lot. It takes a lot of time.
The quality and the meaningfulness of that 45 minutes,
Yeah.
in my mind, is it's a very
Well, like
that
everybody's
45 minutes can set the tone of the entire weekend.
yeah, everybody's hanging out by the campfire or doing
Hey, good to see
whatever,
you, man.
and I'm over in the bed of the trucks unstrapping and like getting the side by side off. That is truly the only reason why I'm. And here's the thing: there's a chance that I'll still have that this year, which I'm completely content with. There are things that I learned the first year of having that I will do differently this year, which will make things smoother. So, with whichever way that we go, it's going to be more refined this year. I mean, that was my first year having it. I probably went up and down that thing probably 30 times. Like I'm comfortable with it. It's totally fine. I still think it's cool. Like if that's so funny. That's why I for a diesel guy to have something where he's got a vehicle on top of his truck towing a small house. Like I think it's cool.
Fuck yeah.
I think it's badass. Like when I pull into a campsite, like people are all eyes on me, which it's not. I'm not like that's not what I want.
Right.
But that just ends up it's because I think other people think it's kind of cool too.
It's the cool factor. You were talking about
Yeah.
earlier in the podcast, like you never bought a vehicle that didn't do something for you in the looks department. There's a cool factor that goes along with things.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say something about that to the one guy that said it was gay.
Yeah. Well, I think
And then I promptly tried to sell it to him.
yeah. I think the takeaway here that we can, I'm gonna get a little philosophical, maybe a little life lesson on this one because what we're talking about as far as like the, and maybe this may help some of you as far as like frame of mind stuff. I know sometimes I have to remind myself of this thing as well, but the possible stress moments. And I'm not saying you should live your life stress free. Stress is good for some parts. It heightens the senses, gets you going.
No, I think
makes
you
your-
have
gets
to
your
have a
brain
certain
going.
amount of stress in your life
Yes, if
To-
you're
to
yeah.
actually feel like you're living life.
You can't go laissez-faire all the day because you're just
Yeah.
gonna be, that ain't cool, man.
Yeah.
Like stress has its place in life, but when you're trying to spend your time a certain way and do certain things in your life, removing stress points all sometimes, albeit they may be very small,
Yeah.
they pay like tenfold over.
Well, yeah, and again, I was thinking about it. Okay, so if I had a toy hauler, okay, that I was towing with my side by side inside the toy hauler, okay,
Mhm.
I've seen plenty of side by sides in a toy hauler that are hauled quite a ways that move inside that trailer.
Mhm.
Okay, like I had probably not the last camping trip, but probably one of the last 5 camping trips that we went on. Good buddy of mine, he's got a toy hauler, he's got a 4-seater Razor. They were gonna camp at a different location than when we were, and they were gonna come meet us that night. Well, they got to their camping spot, and the road was kind of washboard. He couldn't even back his side by side out of his trailer because it had shifted so far to the side
Wow.
that he had to actually like
Jack it up
use.
and
Well,
smooth
he had to
over.
use a strap to slide. Okay, so there's that's happening. I can look and make sure my shit hasn't moved.
Yeah.
Like at any point. And honestly, I can look through my rear view mirror and I could see my rear tires on the rack and I could see the gaps and I could see my straps and I know that that's not moving,
Mhm.
which is a huge sense of relief when you're like, this is expensive toys.
Mhm.
Like I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I've got quite a bit of money in this
Yeah.
whole setup that I've got going on here, and I'm trying to keep everything as nice as possible. So, to me, there would be an added stress factor of having a toy hauler. I mean, yes, I can get good straps and strap it down good. The loading process is way easier, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
You can't see it. In order to see it, you got to pull over, park, open the back, make sure everything's okay, close it all up, and then you can go on your way. I just look through my rearview mirror and I can see where it's at, which is nice.
You know what I just thought of?
Huh.
All those people that install aftermarket like trailer cameras.
Yeah,
You should put one in the cargo area of your toy hauler when you
that would be cool. That
to
would
be
be
able to
cool.
watch it from inside the cab.
So since we're talking about this, and whatever, this is all truck related because it's hauling and it's, you use a diesel truck to do this. But do I go toy? And we actually went out to dinner last night, me and my wife, and we were talking about this and looking at different options. I'm not opposed to doing like a truck bed camper.
Uh-huh.
Okay, just towing a trailer.
Mhm.
So there's that option. Or do we go toy hauler? What do you think? And the reason why I ask you is because you don't have any experience I don't know if you do or not, but as far as camping,
Mhm.
do you have any experience with
Like-
truck bed camper or like a toy hauler? I don't want to make you sound
Oh,
like
no,
you have no experience.
minimal and low cost on both sides.
Yeah.
So I'd say virtually none.
Okay. What do you think? Like outsider's perspective, I can do a truck bed camper and then tow just a regular trailer, or I can do a toy hauler and put everything inside.
Toy hauler 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
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 Like
Because you just like the fact that you could have a little garage on your, right?
no,
I like that
is
too. I think that's cool.
that is the reason 100%. And because the way I see it is like as soon as you describe that situation or that setup, from where you have now or from where you're at now, you would, in my opinion, the only time that you would save is the hookup and takeoff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that removes some time there. But it'd be one thing if you were in that setup now.
Yeah.
Should you go to a toy hauler, maybe keep that because you remove that stress point. But you're not at that point now. You have the stress point of like I wouldn't move into that section. I would
Yeah.
only move to a toy hauler because
Well, here's the thing I didn't even think about that it just came into my head as you were talking. If I did a truck bed camper with a trailer, I would still have to disconnect after I unloaded the side by side because all the steps for a truck bed camper are like right in the middle, right where the tongue of the trailer would be.
I would hope that you would find a good way to figure that out. I don't think it would be the same. But yeah, there's a good possibility you would still be disconnecting. But the main point to me is having an enclosed, lockable storage area
Yep.
for the side-by-side and also a place to work on it out of the elements to make your weekend be able to go longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're pretty sold on the toy hauler thing, and I know there's people making comments about toy haulers, like, "Oh, you're not going to get it in the the spots that you can get." I'm not looking at a 40-footer.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not. I mean, unless we find something that is just an absolute killer deal, like can't pass up kind of a deal. Like I'm not looking to spend that kind of money.
Yeah, well,
because they get outrageous. I'm telling you what, some of those. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. Like some of those fifth wheel toy haulers that you guys pull around are freaking way nicer than my house. They're probably way nicer than all of our houses, to be quite honest with you. I've been in some toy haulers that are like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna sell the house and just live in this. Who cares? This is plenty.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you got to remember for folks that are listening, it's Tyler, Cassie, dog.
yeah.
When you go camping.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're having to
It's
worry
not
about.
even my mother-in-law anymore. You know why?
Yeah.
We kicked her out. We did. We told her this year.
Okay.
She ain't staying.
That's a story for another podcast. But he's not having to worry about having a whole bunch of kids in there or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or other people or now. But the living quarter expectations, I wouldn't say are low, but they're not high. Like you don't have to have extra sleeping arrangements. You don't have to have. And you've stated before, it's like, yeah, the trailer you have now, it's super nice.
Yeah.
But do you need all that to do what you're doing?
No.
No. Like I'm not saying you guys need an air mattress on the floor of a trailer,
Right.
but it's like you're okay getting into something where it's like a little bit more, less on the accessories, less on the extra things when you go out. You may not have like a remote awning or something like that. You may not have like the outdoor speakers or something shit like that. Like, instead of having a I don't even know how big sinks are. So I mean, like instead of having
A double sink and
you have a small single one or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's the trade-off that you guys were able to make, especially because you guys have acknowledged the fact that, like, yeah, we don't go in this thing very much.
Yeah, we go in there to sleep.
Like, yeah, we basically just need a good, comfy, warm place to sleep that doesn't feel like we're necessarily, like, in a tent.
Right.
As long as we have that and a place to put the side-by-side, like, let's party.
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically what we're after. So, yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to clarify some things for the people that were talking smack.
For those of you coming in and talking shit in the comments section.
I saw it was really funny that I was like, I mean, obviously he was I think the only one that said it was gay, who just said anything stupid about, like saying it was dumb. Which, again, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't care.
That's the one that I told you about.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
more.
He's doing
Oh. Even if there was, as someone who I'm trying to word this correctly so I don't sound like an idiot, but it basically, it's just, I think it's cool. All right. I just think it's cool. All right. There's a lot of, Mark thought a 12-inch tip on his truck was cool. He likes that. Cool.
Update. He has taken that tip off because of the criticisms he has heard not only from us, but from some of you listeners that have actually called and talked to him.
So you guys made a difference in the world. You guys made a difference.
He told me someone called in and told him his tip was stupid.
Probably never seen it. They probably never saw it. Just listened to us.
The message I got from him was, he's like, have you talked about my truck on the podcast? I was like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
well,
we
what
have.
did you say? I was like, that your tip is stupid. He's like,
Yeah.
oh my,
Your
are you
truck is
serious?
awesome except for
Yeah.
the tip.
Yeah, I like your truck except your tip is stupid. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it is. Like,
We should have a whole episode on what is the one thing that can completely ruin a truck.
boom. Next episode
Like,
next week. for
seriously.
sure. Okay.
All right.
That's
Let's
about going
this
to wrap this
We're
one
like
up, guys.
An hour and a half into this thing.
Yeah.
How far are we?
We're not an hour and a half.
Hour. Oh.
Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Yeah. I
Other
tell you
way
what,
around,
guys.
sorry.
I want to release more podcasts a week. I want to know what you guys think about that. If you guys would enjoy more, like maybe I think we should do the tease of the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. A podcast on Tuesday, a podcast on Thursday.
Like a long
Just to
and a
get
short.
people, regular,
Two?
just two. Because I feel like that's a good, just gives them more for the week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You need a little more Ben and Tyler, more B and T.
Yeah, a little bit B and T on the tees.
B and T and T's. B and T in your truck, baby girl. As always, if you have questions, feel free to post them up on the YouTube comments. I'm going through and answering them. And if they're good enough questions, we answer them on a podcast.
Yeah, I do want to do a shout out to a customer or a listener. I'm not going to say his name because he had mentioned that I made him cry. And so I don't want to mention his name. But it was about the episode after my dog Willis, rest his soul, had passed away. And he said I brought him to tears. And which he has a dog that is blind that he had raised from, which kudos to you, man. That has got to be a tough. Like I've never had a blind dog or even a dog that was going blind. So and the dog that I'll have to show you the picture. Like happy pup, like kudos to you, man. Like to have that patience to have that. And he said, because I had made a comment and saying, I wish dogs lived longer. Because it's pretty. Honestly, it's pretty fucked up that they die so
It's
young.
true. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty stupid. And he said the reason why they die so young, or they don't live as long, is because they spend their entire life loving you so much.
Yeah.
So cheers to you, mate. I really appreciate that message. Like I said, I'm not going to mention your name because man, so, but you know who you are. I really appreciate that message. That made me feel good inside. And yeah, love dogs.
Love dogs, man.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap this one up. We greatly appreciate all you guys listening. If this is your first time listening to one, you've made it this far, cheers to you. I hope you come back. Trust me, they're a lot better than these on the regular. I'm just kidding. This was actually a fun talk. This was a good episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, go to the Instagram, follow. I love you, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
What's that?
You can do the beer question.
No. Oh, yeah. This is one of those things where, like, I love how, like, somewhat disconnected